Man, I can't see. I'm sorry. Is there a bass player in the house? Is there anybody here who's never played a bass? There you go. Okay, thank you. I do not feel alone. Good evening. Welcome to Park West. Welcome to a memorable and historic event. Now, you know, there's something, as a non-bass player, as a fan of music, there's something kind of secretive about bass players. You know, bassists are unsung, well-slung heroes. We're here tonight to pay tribute to them, to five of the best. But if you stop and think about it, you know, they're not flashy like guitar players. They're not, you know, diving and shaking their hair like lead singers, you know, waving microphones around. They're not, you know, throwing sticks into the audience like drummers. You know, they're doing their job. They're working hard. They are so incredibly fundamental to the sound of music that we love. And you think about it, you know, as a person with a few brain cells still left who's been listening to music for a long time, you think about the language of music. Take the word basic. Basic. Very basic. The bass is a major part of that. You take the word funky. It's been around for many, many years. Would the word funky even exist if there were no such thing as an electric bass? You talk about the expression, getting into a groove. I ask you, would there be a groove with no electric bass? Thank you for your kind response. Humor me, please. I'll be done soon enough. So you bet your bottom dollar, get it. You require bassists for music at its best. And tonight, Raising the Bottom is all about that. We're here to glorify, to idolize, to extol the virtues of the electric bass. And we're here to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Lakland Bass, Chicago's own. Ours is a cynical generation, but I would think that tonight you're going to have your minds blown, you're going to have your expectations surpassed, you're going to have more fun than you can imagine. You'll be glad you came out on a Thursday night. Now, let me make a few announcements to tell you, first of all, that in the lobby, as you walked in, you walked past a number of tables. One of those tables was where a silent auction is taking place. And they are auctioning off a beautiful Lakland bass that not only in and of itself is a work of art, however, it's also been autographed by each of the five bass players who are starring here tonight. Please register your bids. It's a silent auction, as I said. There will be an intermission later on this evening after a few performances. So take advantage of the intermission. Rather than waiting in a long line, go right there, sign up, and make your bid. It'll be a tremendous keepsake of the evening. There's also a silent auction for an Ampeg bass amp. One of these on the stage here tonight that's being used tonight. An Ampeg bass amp. Again, you know, the money will be going to the Merit School of Music, whose proceeds at the night event are going to the Merit School of Music. If you're not familiar with them, they also have a table in the lobby. They've got some lovely brochures, but the basic thing is this. The government is not supporting music education in schools. You aware of this? That's what the Merit School of Music has been compensating for many, many years. They're a great local institution. Please help them out, as tonight's event is doing. They'll be moving to a new home soon. They could use your money. They could use your funds. So please give generously. Make a bid in the silent auction. In addition, the festivities of this week with having these immortals of the bass in town this week, there's going to be an open house tomorrow at Lakland World Headquarters. If you want a free admission, 5 to 9 p.m. tomorrow. Not very far from here. Just head west on Armitage. You won't be that far away. If you want specifics about this, please go to lakeland.com when you're through. No laptops exposed in the audience. No cell phones, I hope, in the audience. Please turn off your cell phones tonight. But the open house will be tomorrow from 5 to 9 p.m., okay? I think that is all the business that needs to transact. Let me simply tell you to get out of here so we can start music as soon as possible that the artists you're about to hear tonight, quite seriously, are among the greatest influences in the illustrious history of American pop music. R&B, soul music, jazz, rock and roll. The amazing thing about hearing artists of this caliber, artists of this stature, is that we don't have to spend the evening in a museum. Let's have fun. Thanks for coming out tonight. And now the fun begins. Let's welcome a band that's become a Chicago institution in the last few years. Their gigs are spreading the gospel about their amazing talents. This band can do anything, they can play everything, and that's precisely why they're here tonight. Every month they take on a different musical incarnation. They perform music inspired by different artists of virtually every genre of rock and roll. Tonight they're here at the Mercy and to support some of these great bass players. Let's welcome Tributasaurus.
Bob Glaub, born in New York and raised in Los Angeles, got his first taste of the studio in 1972 when he recorded on Jesse Ed Davis's album, Keep Me Coming. Bob's affiliation with Jesse Ed led to his first major recording sessions, featuring none other than John Lennon and Rod Stewart. He played on John's rock and roll album and Rod's Atlantic Crossing. With this, Bob's studio career was off and running. He was practically considered Asylum Records' house bassist, recording his signature sound on albums by Jackson Browne, Warren Zevon, and Linda Ronstadt, among others, through the mid to late 1970s. Around 1978, Bob joined Jackson Browne's band and toured the world with him until he stepped down in 1989. Bob was also Linda Ronstadt's touring bass player from 1980 to 2000. His solid, distinctive sound and style has kept him busy throughout the last 30-plus years with a string of major label releases that include The Pretender, Lawyers in Love, and Hold Out by Jackson Browne, A Night on the Town and Atlantic Crossing by Rod Stewart, Excitable Boy by Warren Zevon, Last Dance and Bad Girls by Donna Summer, Book of Dreams by the Steve Miller Band, American Prayer by The Doors, Blue Moon Swamp and Premonition by John Fogerty, Mad Love and Get Closer by Linda Ronstadt, Daylight Again by Crosby, Stills and Nash, Belladonna and Modern by Stevie Nicks, The Missing Years by John Prine, American Dream by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, as well as albums by Springsteen, Dylan, Seeger, The Bee Gees, Neil Diamond, Dusty Springfield, Rodney Crowell, Aaron Neville, Ringo Starr, Taj Mahal, Jerry Lee Lewis, and countless others. In 1997, Bob joined John Fogerty's band for a tour that included the DVD release Premonition, a live concert documenting Fogerty's successful reemergence into rock music. Between 2000 and 2002, Bob recorded and toured the U.S. with Dwight Yoakam. Bob has been busy the last several years making records in Los Angeles and other studios around the USA. Bob and Lakland got together in 1999 to create the Bob Glaub signature model.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bob Glaub. Hey, blackjack dealer, come on, hit me, man. City's gonna Thank you very much. Good night, everybody. You guys have been great. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot for coming out. Bob Glaub, everybody. What an honor for Tributosaurus to get this gig, man. Pretty cool. And, you know, one thing we were surprised to find out last night at rehearsal, these guys actually, you know, they're pretty good. We're sort of surprised to find that out. All right, this is a hit from Carla Bonoff that Bob played on, and Ingrid Groudens is going to sing it.
Since you've been gone, talking to you on the telephone for what seems like a whole life long. I've got something to give you that the mailman can't deliver, can't mail it in, can't phone it in, can't send it in. The Paleolithic horns on their way off the stage.
They'll be back much more. There's stuff later in the night that has horn sections dramatically. So sometimes you really get to listen to a song and you realize how just unbelievably beautiful the bass line is. And this one right here, I knew I loved the song, but I didn't realize how great the bass line was. Till I listened again. This is Jackson Browne right here. A house in the shade of the freeway. I'm gonna pack my lunch in the morning and go to work each day. And when the evening rolls around, I'll go on home and lay my body down. And when the morning light comes streaming in, I'll get up and do it again. Amen. Say it again. Amen. I wanna know what became of the changes we waited for love to bring. Were they only the fitful dreams of some greater awakening? Been aware of the time going by. They say in the end it's the wink of an eye. And when the morning light comes streaming in, you'll get up and do it again. Amen. Caught between the longing for love and the struggle for the legal tender, the sirens sing and the church bells ring and the junk band pounds his fender, where the veterans dream of a fight, fast asleep at the traffic light, and the children silently wait for the ice cream vendor. Out into the cool of the evening strolls the pretender. He knows that all his hopes and dreams begin in and there. All the lovers as they run through the night, leaving nothing but to choose off and fight. And tearing the world with all their might, while the ships, they're in their dreams, sail out of sight. I'm gonna find myself a girl who can show me what laughter means, and we'll fill in the missing colors in each other's paint by number dreams. And then we'll put our dark glasses on and we'll make love until our strength is gone. And when the morning light comes streaming in, we'll get up and do it again. Get it up again. I'm gonna be a happy idiot and struggle for the legal tender, where the heirs take aim and lay their claim to the heart and the soul of the spender, and believe in whatever may lie in those things that money can buy. prayer for the pretender who started out so young and strong, only to surrender. Say a prayer for the pretender. Are you there for the pretender? Say a prayer for the pretender. Are you there for the pretender? Are you prepared for the pretender? Are you there for the pretender? Thank you much. That's John Janowiak on the euphonium over there, filling that one out. All right, now my night's made. I can go home now. We got guitar vocal happening over here.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
There it is. Just getting rolling. 4 more great bass players to go. A couple more songs with Bob Glaub. I gotta say, all these guys, all 5 of these guys, not one of them has big-timed us, you know? We had our fears. Some of these guys coming in, yeah, whatever. You're Chicago kids, whatever, you're not really in the music business. No. But not one of them have been like that, so we appreciate it.
Even though we're losing in the hits category, we're 0.
Yeah, we're still at 0. I think Bob's winning so far in the hits category.
Hits or something. I got nothing.
All right, Kurt Morrison's gonna sing this one on guitar. Telephone line, relax, baby, and draw that blind. Kick off your shoes and sit right down. Loosen up that pretty French gown. Let me pour you a good long drink. Woo, baby, don't you hesitate, 'cause tonight's the night. It's gonna be alright, 'cause I love you, girl. Ain't nobody gonna stop us now. Come on, angel, my heart's on fire. Don't deny your man's desire. You'd be a fool to stop this time. Spread your wings and let me come inside. 'Cause tonight's the night. It's gonna be alright, 'cause I love you, girl. Ain't nobody gonna stop us now.
She's speaking French at the end of that song, and the actual French translation
Yeah,
is...
that's right, but hold on, yeah, Ingrid was doing the French. We called it the bullshit French, because we couldn't really tell what the French was at the end. But what do you think the actual translation
I
was,
think the actual translation is, for the love of God, Rod, don't make another Standards album. I think that's what it was saying.
You know, I asked Bob about that session, because if ever there was a session I figured had to be filled with cocaine and loose women and dice games and crazy things going on, he said that one was really straight-laced and really focused. So, you know, not like our rehearsal last night. Chris Sebold and Kurt Morrison on the guitar harmonies there at the end. And Nick Meyer on saxophone. You'll see a lot of Nick tonight. Tonight is really Lakland Bass presents Nick Meyer, along with some bass players. No. All right, one more for Bob.
I'm ready.
Little Zevon, Mr. Chris Neville will sing it.
Down to dinner in his Sunday best, excitable boy they all said, and he rubbed the pot roast all over his chest, excitable boy they all said. Well, he's just an excitable boy. He took him the 4 a.m. show at the club, excitable boy they all said, and he bit the assurance leg in the dark, excitable boy, they all said. Well, it's just an excitable boy. He took little Susie to the Sunday prom, excitable boy, he all said. And he raped her and killed her, then he took her home, excitable boy, they all said. Well, it's just an excitable boy. After 10 long years, they let him out of the home, excitable boy, they all said. And he dug up her grave and built a cage with her bones, excitable boy, they all said. Well, it's just an excitable boy.
Give it up for the great Bob Glaub, everybody.
Born and raised right here in Chicago, Darryl Jones emerged in 1983 with a gig as bassist with the immortal jazz trumpeter Miles Davis. But Darryl Jones, just 22 years old at the time, was just warming up. In 1985, with Miles's blessing, Darryl took a job with rock and pop superstar Sting. The Dream of the Blue Turtle CD and full-length video Bring on the Night were products of this association. Next, Darrell moved on to New York's elite contemporary jazz scene, performing and recording with guitarists John Scofield and Mike Stern, Gil Evans' big band, and Steps Ahead. The demand for Darrell's rock-solid feel kept him busy as a sideman, on tours with Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters, Peter Gabriel, and Madonna, while he was also recording with everyone from Eric Clapton to Spike Lee. In 1993, when the Rolling Stones announced the departure of charter member Bill Wyman, Darrell saw a potential opportunity. A gig with the Stones was in no way a slam dunk, since over 20 of the world's top bass players had the same idea, but Darrell gave it a try. His audition went well, very well in fact, and Darrell ultimately got the coveted slot. Darrell was off to record the Voodoo Lounge album and do the subsequent world tour. 3 world tours later, and Darrell and the Stones are still going strong. Darrell's Lakland signature bass came out in 2002.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chicago's own Darrell Jones.
Thank you, thank you. I am so honored to be here with the company I'm keeping these days. It's wonderful. There's about 230 years worth of electric bass experience here, and I am really, really proud to be a part of it. What are we doing? I'm going to play something from my day job.
Meat I eat for dinner must be hung up for And Sandy Toronto on guitar for this set as well. Give it up for Sandy. We'll go to another era of Darryl right now. Bring out David Blaemeyers to sing this one. Come on, David.
Free, free, set them free. Free, free, set them free. Free, free, set them free. Free, free, set them free.
If you need somebody,
Set them free. Call my name. Free, free, set them free.
if you want someone,
Set them free.
you can do the same.
Free, set them free.
If you want to keep something pretty,
Set them free.
gotta lock it up and throw away the key.
Set them free.
You better hold on to your position.
Set them free.
Don't even think about it. If you love somebody, if you love someone, if you love somebody, if you love someone, set them free.
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 Set them free. There's a very wrong. Just look into my eyes. All a weapon, boy. Someone to despise. All a prisoner in the dark. Tied up in chains you just can't see. All a beast in a gilded cage. That's all some people ever wanna be. If you love somebody, if you love someone, if you love somebody, if you love someone, set them free. Set them free. Set them free. Set them free. You can't control anything, can't lie. Can't tell the one you love apart. Forever conditioned to believe that we can live here and be happy with less. So many riches, so many souls. Everything we live for, we're left to regret. If you need somebody, call my name. If you want someone, you can do the same. If you want to keep something pretty, gotta lock it up and throw away the key. Wanna hold on to your possession? Yeah! Don't even think about me. If you love somebody, if you love someone, if you love somebody, if you love someone, set them free. 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 Set them free.
David Blaemeyers singing that one. All right. Now, Daryl, that was a good band, man. I gotta say. Daryl, that was a pretty good band, right? The great Kenny Kirkland on piano? Goodness. I was just over there doing my Janis Pendarvis impression. That's an unbelievable band. Got a couple more with Daryl. We begged him and pleaded with him last night to do this one.
Great tune. It's a good idea. I'm glad you did. Rocks off.
Oh, yeah! I hear you talking when I'm on the street. Your mouth don't move, but I can hear you speak. What's the matter with the boy? He don't come around no more. Is he turning out the shore? Is he gonna close the door on me? And I'm always hearing voices on the street. I want to shout, but I can't hardly speak. I was making love last night to a dancing friend of mine, but I can't seem to stay in step, 'cause you come every time that you pirouette over me. And I only get my rocks off while I'm dreaming. Yeah, I only get my rocks off while I'm sleeping. I'm zipping through the days at lightning speed. Plug in, flush out, file the function free. Headed for the overload, splattered on the dusty road. Kick me like you kicked before. I can't even feel the pain no more. But I only get my rocks off while I'm dreaming. Yeah, I only get my rocks off while I'm sleeping.
Thank you. It's been a little while. Thank you. Thanks very much. We're going to go way back for me now and play a tune by just an amazing man. This is Jean-Pierre by Miles Davis. Thank you very much.
Daryl Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Sandy Toronto on guitar right here. Kurt Morrison on guitar right over here. Mick Meyer on the saxophone over there. Mike Chickowitz on the trumpet here. And our friend Sam Strike joining us on the keyboards as well. Daryl Jones!
Donald Duck Dunn hails from the birthplace of rock and roll, Memphis, Tennessee. A call from guitarist Steve Cropper in 1962 led to Duck joining Booker T and the MGs. They soon became the house band for the Stax Recording Company in Memphis. Duck's credits for Stax include classic sessions by such artists as Wilson Pickett, Carla Thomas, Isaac Hayes, Eddie Floyd, Sam and Dave, Albert King, and Otis Redding. Duck toured the globe with Stax Reviews and was on stage with Otis Redding at the Monterey Pop Festival. Many hits and a few world tours later, Duck called it quits and moved from Memphis to L.A. to begin a studio career out there. While in L.A., Duck put his signature sound and feel on recordings by Rod Stewart, Tom Petty, Bill Withers, Peter Frampton, Robert Palmer, and Joan Baez, among many others. In the late 70s, Duck received the most visible role of his career. Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi chose Duck to be a part of their multimedia project, The Blues Brothers. The film and subsequent albums were smash successes. In the mid-'80s, Duck was hired by Eric Clapton to be in his band. His tenure with Clapton included a performance at Bob Geldof's Live Aid. In 1993, Duck first played with his current employer, Neil Young. At this point, Duck's still not done with Neil, as he still tours and records with him and Crazy Horse. Duck, introduced to us by Bob Glaub, has played Lakland basses since 2000. 2005 marks the launch of his signature model.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one, the only, Donald Duck Dunn. not done, everybody. I know it. Larry Beers on the drums on that one. We'll bring back Mike Chikowitz and the Paleolithic horns. Man, this set is some fun right here. And now, the man who built these instruments and brought these people together will sing for you. That's right. Welcome, Dan Lakland.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, what a night. Thanks for coming out. Before I sing my song, and it's my party, I'll sing if I want to. And there's a few people I'd like to thank, real quick. I'd like to thank these 5 bass players who gave me a shot when I was an unknown, unfathomed. I would also like to thank JP, Carl, and the rest of the staff at Lakland for making this happen. I'd like to thank the band Tributosaurus. They've just killed, and they really, really nailed it. All right. I'd like to, a special thanks to my wife Cheryl, who helped me through all this. And a very special thanks, and I want you guys to give a big round of applause for Cheryl Holtzman, who put this whole thing together and believed in this from day one, made this whole thing happen. And thank you all for coming tonight. You really making this a very special night. You guys ready? Road, take good loving
Thank you.
Dan Lakland!
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Hold on, give us 1 second. We'll do the straight
Okay, we'd like to say something just serious for a moment. We'd like to alert you to some crimes against humanity that go on every Saturday night across this great land of ours, and that is the butchering by people in tuxedos of Donald Duck Dunn's music. Now, there's some musicians out here probably, and you know, I've been involved too. I've done some pretty soulless versions of Soul Man and other things like that, you know, Midnight Hour. So we'd like to apologize formally.
Yes, on behalf of all the bass players out there, all the musicians who've ever shouted out the chords to a jazz guitarist.
For the bridge to like
Dock of the Bay.
Dock of the Bay, the
you
jazz
know,
bass players.
all the brutal versions of tunes that Duck recorded and made famous. We'd like to apologize formally to Duck for that.
I wish my wife would do the same thing.
Duck Dunn working blue, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to bring out Gerald McClendon to do a couple of tunes right here. Come on, Gerald.
Oh yeah, good evening. Woo. You are being really treated tonight. Somebody just give a big round of applause just for being here. Yeah. Here's a little Wilson Pickett tune. Oh yeah. Put your hands together. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour, baby. That's when my love comes tumbling down. I'm gonna wait the midnight hour, baby. That's when there's no one else around. I'm gonna take you, girl, and hold you and do all the things I told you in the midnight hour, baby. Oh yeah, oh yes I am. Here's one thing I want you to know. I'm gonna wait till the stars come out to see the twinkle in your eyes.
Duck. It all works out. Yeah, we thank you. Here's a number by the great dual team, Sam and Dave. Yeah. Woo.
All right, Gerald, you and me, man, ready?
I'm with you.
I get to do this with Duck Dunn. It's crazy. Unbelievable.
The real man.
Unbelievable. Where's the pipe, man? No, we're gonna. Are we ready to go?
Oh, what a party people at! Come on! Now don't you ever be sad. Lean on me when the time gets bad. When the day comes and you're down, baby, in a river of trouble and about to drown. Just hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Just hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. I'm on my way, your lover. If you get cold, yeah, I will be your cover. Don't have to worry, cause I'm here. No need to suffer, baby, cause I'm here. Just hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Just hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Look at here. Reach out to me for satisfaction, yeah. All you gotta do, baby, is call my name for quick reaction, yeah. Woo! Now don't you ever, no never, be sad. Lean on me, yes I will. When the time get bad, when the day comes and you're down, baby, in a river of trouble and about to drown. Just hold on, I'm coming. Just hold on, I'm coming. Just hold on, don't you worry, I'm coming. You'll see me coming. Hold on, yeah, I'm coming. Just hold on, don't you worry, I'm coming. For satisfaction, hold on, don't you worry, I'm coming. Here I come, hold on, don't you worry, I'm coming. You'll see me coming. Hold on, yeah, I'm coming. Woo! Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Gerald McClendon, everybody. Now, I read this story that every time Otis Redding used to go down to hang out with Cropper and Duck and them, he would fly in, then he'd go to a hotel, you know, get comfortable, and then maybe come over to the studio. But this time he called Steve Cropper. This is what I read, Duck. He called Steve Cropper from the airport and said, I got something. I got to come over. We got to work on it now. And he came right over from the airport. Is that true? That's what I heard. So then he and Steve and Duck laid this little thing down. It's a pretty one.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and I watch them roll away again. I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Lord, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay. I've had nothing to live for, looks like nothing's gonna come my way. Lord, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Lord, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Looks like nothing's gonna change, everything still remains the same. And I can't do what 10 people tell me to do, so I guess I'll remain the same. Sitting here resting my bones, and this loneliness won't leave me alone. It's 2,000 miles I've roamed just to make this dock my home. Lord, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Lord, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Donald Doug Dunn, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. We've got much more to come. Two more amazing bass players. Jerry Sheff will be up here in a little bit. And Joe Osborne. These guys are unbelievable and wonderful guys, and we're looking forward to two more sets. But first, we want to welcome out the lady who put all this together, has been busting her butt, been on the phone constantly. The headset has made a mark on the side of her head. Please welcome, from Girl Rock Productions, she worked real hard. Please give it up for Cheryl Holtzman, everybody.
Jerry Sheff was raised in Northern California and entered the Los Angeles music scene in 1964. Jerry stayed busy recording both upright and electric bass with artists like The Association, the Everly Brothers, Johnny Mathis, and Linda Ronstadt and the Stone Ponies. In 1969, at the urging of guitarist James Burton, Jerry auditioned for Elvis Presley's live concert comeback. He got the job with Elvis's Taking Care of Business band, TCB, and stayed on until 1973. After 2 years, he returned to play with the King again until Elvis's death in 1977. During his tenure with Elvis, Jerry kept active with his studio career, and in 1971 he recorded with The Doors on Jim Morrison's final album, L.A. Woman. Jerry took part in a number of tours, including one with Bob Dylan. Ironically, he eventually wound up with yet another Elvis, Elvis Costello. Jerry was with the bespectacled UK Elvis until the late 80s. In 1989, Jerry was part of the Roy Orbison project Black and White, which featured a veritable who's who of rock musicians. In the 90s, Jerry was a favorite of celebrated producers Mitchell Froom and T-Bone Burnett. Jerry recorded on a series of acclaimed albums by Richard Thompson, as well as Sam Phillips, Jimmy Dale Gilmore, and Bruce Cockburn, to name a few. In the late 90s, Jerry got back together with the TCB Band and toured the world with the Elvis the Concert multimedia event, which featured the filmed Elvis in his glory days singing with a live band. Jerry started playing Lakland in 1998. His signature model was released in 2000.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and please welcome the amazing Jerry Sheff. Look at that beautiful blue Lakland bass right there. Gorgeous.
Thank you. For those of you who don't know me, I once did a Leonard Nimoy album. So I did. Spock. Now, we're going to do, the first song we're going to do is a song that I worked on in 1966. And I was in Los Angeles, and I went to a two-story house that was right in the middle of Hollywood, and it was owned by a guy named Gary Paxton, who was a producer and songwriter back then. And there were pails of reeking diapers in the hallways of this house, and we set up in the living room, and Gary had the board upstairs, and we had to talk through the drum mics because there was no intercom. And yeah, it was really primitive. But in any event, we had a 4-track, Ampex 4-track tape recorder, and the bass part went down with the drum track. So what the record was Along Comes Mary, for the association, and for those of you who are familiar with that. And the very first take they liked, and they wanted to keep it, and there was just a really obvious bass mistake right in the middle of it, right? And the ending I had blown. I didn't get it with everybody else, but they wanted to use that take. So the very first time I ever heard myself on the radio, I had to suffer through listening to that with the bass mistake and screwing up the ending and everything. Yeah. And for about a month, it went on and on and on, and every time I was just... So anyhow, about a year later, I was walking through a market, and I heard a Muzak version of Along Comes Mary. And guess what? It had the bass mistakes in it and the blown ending. So I never got over it. But anyhow, we're going to do that first. So here you go.
No mistakes.
Someone calls on me, and every now and then I spend my time in rhyming verse and curse those sweet as the punch.
Tastes as sweet as the punch. 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 Jerry Chef. All right, we're going to bring out an excellent singer, most well-known to you, I'm sure, Chicago's own Nick Tremulous, to join us right here.
Now this tune is fast. So fast I thought about going off the wagon. But this is the greatest night. I just want to say, you know, there's no flashy idiots up here. These are real live bass players. When you hired these guys, you hired a bass player and you got the second melody for free. And these songs are hits because of them, you know. It's because these are the things that you remember in your brain. I thought bass kind of disappeared in the 90s with alternative. It's great to hear this back and just go, aha. You can get up. Huh. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. I can't see what you're doing to me. Don't believe a word I say. We can't go on together.
'cause I love you too much, baby. I can't walk out because I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Out in the track. I can't walk out because I love you too much. Out in the track. Elvis, I'm sorry you broke the mic on the last note. Elvis? Nick Tremulous, everybody. I got to take a quick minute and recognize a couple of people. First of all, Ingrid Groudon, Shauna Spiegel, and Michelle Hallman singing all night long. And, you know, all these wonderful bass players came to town last night. We had a great rehearsal, but we've been working on stuff for a little longer, and there's a guy who's not on stage tonight who I must recognize. Tributosaurus' regular bass player, Mr. Jonathan Paul, who learned all the tunes, and we ran them together, and helped also write down some parts to help guys remember some things they hadn't done in 40, 50 years. 40, 30 years, I should say. Nobody's that old. Nobody. Anybody see Jerry Chef's fingers on that last song? Oh my God. Now this one, Jerry, is yours we're gonna do, right?
Yeah, this is a song that that I wrote for Elvis Presley in 1976. And we were sitting on a plane, and I asked him why he wasn't doing any more rock and roll songs, and he said he couldn't find one that he liked. And so I said, well, shoot, all right. So I wrote this song, and his producer loved it. And we went to Graceland at his house, and we had a remote unit that we were using to record with him. And we started working on this song, and we worked on it for about an hour and a half with Elvis, and everybody was learning it. And all of a sudden, Elvis left, and he went upstairs. And after about an hour, he called me up and he said, "I can't record it anymore." And as far as I know, that's the last time that Elvis ever was before a microphone in a recording situation. And so he told me that we should do the track and that he would get his vocal on it. Well, he never got his vocal on it. So in any event, this is that song. It's called Fire Down Below, and I wrote it in 1976, and I had a woman in mind when I wrote this song. And but she never came along until about a year ago, and she's sitting here in the audience tonight. So 2 years ago, actually. So anyhow, it's called Fire Down Below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
There's a fire down below. It's burning out of control now. Man, your battle stations, baby. 'Cause there's a fire down below. A song by Jerry Sheff. Hey, all these guys are going to be at Lakland Bass Factory tomorrow. They're doing a master class, which I think is all full, all sold out. But then at 5 o'clock, there is an open house at the factories. You can go check out the stuff being built. All the luthiers will be there. Yeah, that's right, I said luthiers. You got away with it. From 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Lakland. It's over on Dominic near Southport and Clybourne. You can go to www.lakeland.com. And all the bass players will be there, so you can go check them out, say hello. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't looking forward to this part of the evening.
Never saw a woman so long.
Mr. Mojo rising, Mr. Mojo rising, Mr. Mojo rising, Mr. Mojo rising, got to keep on rising, Mr. Mojo rising, Mr. Mojo rising, Mojo rising, got a mojo rising, Mr. Mojo rising, got to keep on rising, 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 gonna rise and rising, gonna rise and rising, gotta rise and rising, well rise and rising, I gotta rise, yeah! When I think I laid down about an hour ago, took a look around at which way the wind blows, where the little girls in the Hollywood bungalow. Are you a lucky little lady in the city of light, or just another lost angel? City of light, city of light, city of light, city of light, yeah! LA woman, LA woman, LA woman, you're my woman. Little LA woman, little LA woman, LA woman, LA woman, come on, yeah! Jerry Chef, ladies and gentlemen. The man played with Jim Morrison. Jerry Chef awoke before dawn. He put his boots on. He took a bass from the Lakland gallery and he walked on down. One more right here. Riders on the storm, riders on the storm. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone, an actor out on loan. Riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday. Let your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet family will die. Killer on the road. You gotta love your man. Girl, you gotta love your man. Take him by the hand. Make him understand. The world on you depends. Our life will never end. Gotta love your man. the storm, riders on the storm. Into this house we're born, into a dog without a bone, an actor out on loan. Riders on the storm, riders on the storm, riders on the storm, riders on the storm. Jerry Chef, everybody. The great Jerry Chef. By the way, our own Chris Neville on the keyboards and the solo there. Speaking of the Nevilles, there's like 80 of them here, I think.
Joe Osborne hails from Shreveport, Louisiana. In 1960, at the urging of high school friend James Burton, Joe, then a guitarist, relocated to Los Angeles to join Rick Nelson's band on bass. Joe's guitar sensibilities led him to create a cutting yet warm bass sound that could even be heard through small transistor radio speakers. Joe started turning heads immediately with this sound, and he soon began moodlining with other artists and producers around LA. Besides studio work, Joe took live gigs like his 1963 year-long residency with Johnny Rivers at the famed Whiskey A Go-Go on Sunset Strip. Joe also played at the Monterey Pop Festival with the Mamas and the Papas. By the late 60s, Joe was on fire, recording with some of the industry's most popular artists, including the Mamas and the Papas, Simon and Garfunkel, Neil Diamond, the Carpenters, the Monkees, and the Fifth Dimension, just to name a few. Joe was averaging 2 top 10 records per week. During this period, Joe recorded on more hit records than any single bass player in history. LA took its toll on Joe and his family, so in 1974 they relocated to Nashville. In 1977, Joe had the opportunity to record with Neil Young on the Comes a Time album. Joe recorded more hit singles on the country side than on the pop side, but his success was bittersweet. In the 70s and early 80s, some Nashville producers didn't understand that Joe's sound was derived by playing flat-wound strings with a pick. Their requests for Joe to change his style to fingers and round-wound strings were too much for Joe, and he relocated again back home to Shreveport in 1989. Joe got together with Lakland in 1998 when a Bass Player magazine article helped Dan realize who played bass on all those great records. In 1999, the Joe Osborne signature bass was launched, and it has since become a staple in the Lakland line.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the man with more hit records than any bass player in history, Joe Osborne. This is crazy. Just trying to wrap my head around the evening and having a difficult time doing that. David Blaemeyer's coming out to join us singing on this one. There is much to be sung on this tune. Who's peeking out from under a stairway, smiling a name that's lighter than the air? Who's bending down to give me a raise? flash of the sound of light, and when he has wings to fly above the clouds, above the clouds. He's tripping down the streets of the city, smiling at everybody she sees. Who's reaching out to capture a moment? Everyone knows it's Whitney. Who's tripping down the streets of the city, smiling at everybody she sees? Who's reaching out to capture a moment? Everyone knows it's Whitney. Who's tripping down the streets of the city, smiling at everybody she sees? Who's reaching out to capture a moment? Everyone knows it's Whitney. Who's tripping down the streets of the city, smiling at everybody she sees? Who's reaching out to capture a moment? Everyone knows it's Whitney. Who's tripping down the streets of the city, smiling at everybody she sees? Who's reaching out to capture a moment? Everyone knows it's Whitney.
Joe Osborne.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you. Why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled moonlight in your hair and golden starlight in your eyes of blue. That is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Long ago, and oh so far away, I fell in love with you before the second show. Your guitar, it sounds so sweet and clear, but you're not really here. It's just the radio. Don't you remember you told me you loved me, baby? Said you'd be coming back this weekend, baby. Baby, 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 oh baby, I love you, I really do.
We've only just begun to live. White lace and promises, a kiss for luck and we're on our way. Before the rising sun, we fly. So many roads to choose. We start out walking and learn to run.
Yes, we've just begun.
Sharing horizons that are new to us, watching for signs along the way. Talking it over, just the two of us, working together day to day. Together, together. And when the evening comes, we smile. So much of life ahead. We'll find a place where there's room to grow. And yes, we've just begun.
Joe Osborne played on that stuff, man. Unbelievable. Ingrid Groudens and Shauna Spiegel. And Nick Meyer on the clarinet. I told you it was the Nick Meyer show on there. All right, now this one, Joe told us was a session that lasted all night, right? At least all night. Started at night and it was dawn by the time they were done, but I gotta tell you, I had a record, I think it was a K-Tel record, it was called Summer of Love, and it was all these hits from '67. And I found out just about everything on that record Joe was on. Everything. Including this one.
Was he in the original artists, that band?
Not by them. If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. If you're going to San Francisco, you're gonna meet some gentle people there. For those who come to San Francisco, summertime will be loving there. In the streets of San Francisco, gentle people with flowers in their hair. All across the nation, such a strange vibration, people in motion. There's a whole generation with a new San Francisco. Summertime will be a loving there. All right, we need several women and several men for this one. I didn't bring my fur hat. I wish I had my fur hat for this one.
I forgot my medallion, too.
You got your medallion? You got a fur hat for me? Toss it on stage, would you, for the love of God? Now I'm equipped and ready to go. He's quick. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Chris Neville comes out from the keyboards. Joe Osborne. We now take everyone with us to the Mamas and the Papas. I saw her again last night, and you know that I shouldn't. To string her along's just not right. If I could and I would, but what can I do? I'm lonely too, and it makes me feel so good to know she'll never leave me. I've been waiting over my head. She thinks that I love her. She calls, that's what I said. No, I never think of. But what can I do? I'm lonely too, and it makes me feel so good to know she'll never leave me. All the leaves are brown, and the sky is gray. I can throw on a winter's day. I'd be safe and warm if I was in LA. California dreaming on such a winter's day. right, Kurt Morrison, come on over here, man. It's time to... Kurt, Chris, and I will be the Jordanaires on this next one. Rick Nelson, gone before his time. Frank Piarcello will come out and sing it with the great Joe Osborne. Amazing. I'm done with the fur hat. I need like a plaid jacket and a bolo tie now. Anybody have a plaid jacket? Plaid jacket, bolo tie?
What a show.
Woo!
You know, when Dan asked me to do this, you know, I thought, gee, I get to play with Joe Osborne, and I get to stand in for Ricky Nelson. So what's wrong with that? I'll do it.
Boom, 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 boom.
I'm a traveling man, made a lot of stops all over the world. But in every port I've owned the heart of at least one lovely girl. I've a pretty senorita waiting for me down in Old Mexico. If you're ever in Alaska, stop and see my cute little Eskimo. Oh, my sweet Fraulein down in Berlin town makes my heart start to yearn. And my China down in old Hong Kong waits for my return. Pretty Polynesian baby over the sea, I remember the night when we walked through the sands of Waikiki and I held you oh so tight. Oh, my sweet Fraulein down in Berlin town makes my heart start to yearn. And my China down in old Hong Kong waits for my return. Pretty Polynesian baby over the sea, I remember the night when we walked through the sands of Waikiki and I held you oh so tight. Whoa, I'm a traveling man. Yes, I'm a traveling man. Whoa, I'm a traveling man. Yes, I'm a traveling man.
Frank Piarcello and the Jordanaires. All right, we got one more with Joe Osborne, and then there's a very special finale that you don't want to miss. But you're here, you're not going to miss it. Don't worry about it. She's been waiting all night to sing her one lead. Our very good friend and a wonderful singer, Michelle Hallman, will come out and kick your ass on this one.
Matt, was she hosting Solid Gold? Or was that Marilyn McCoo? I was confused.
One and the same, baby, one and the same. All right, ready? We got the double flute intro coming here. Flute on flute action, hot flute on flute action. Danny's gonna count it.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. None of us are taught derision, golden living dreams of vision.
Crystal revelation.
And the mind's true liberation. Aquarius. When the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planet and love will still start. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius.
Michelle Holman, everybody. Joe Osborne, everybody. All right, we got one finale for you. We're gonna bring out everybody. Come on. Let's bring out Bob Glaub and Jerry Sheff and Donald Duck Dunn and Darryl Jones. Folks, there's 5 bass rigs on the stage for a reason. And let's bring out Nick Tremulous to come back and sing with us, and Gerald McClendon to come back and sing.
How about this band? Give it up for this band who did such an unbelievable job tonight. Unbelievable. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
Can we get a few more bass players on the stage, please? Are there any other bass players in the house?
Hey, Matt, there's probably a house full of bass players taking notes.
Jerry said it's bass player heaven and drummer hell. All right, we'll do one of Duck's. One of Duck's to close out here. Duck, you gonna lead us in? He's got it. Everybody ready? Everybody ready? All right.
I don't wanna lose this kind of thing that I got, 'cause if I do, I will surely lose a lot, 'cause your love is better than any love I know. It's like thunder, lightning. The way you love me is frightening. I better not. Oh, whoa, baby. I ain't superstitious about you. Baby, I can't take no chance. Got me spinning, baby. You know I'm in a trance, 'cause your love is better than any love I got. It's like thunder, lightning. The way you love me is frightening. You better not on wood, baby. Go ahead, Gerald. Ain't no secret that woman, she fills my loving cup. What she sees to it, baby, then I get enough. Just one touch from her, you know it means so much. It's like thunder and lightning, yeah. The way you love is frightening. I better not. Oh, baby. I think I better knock on wood. 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 Think I better knock on wood.
Give it up for the bass players, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Duck Dunn, Jerry Shelf, Joe Osborne, Daryl Jones, Bob Glaub. First time ever on stage together.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks to Dan Lakland for getting all these people together.
Thanks, Dan. Dan Lakland, the whole reason for this, right here.